For those of you that have watched this channel, you'll know that I had a significant mental health breakdown in January 2024. And over the past 15 months, I've been just making some notes. What are some really interesting things that I can share with people about this journey of healing? What are the things that I didn't do, which led to me having a breakdown? So I'm going to share with you in this video 20 things. Are you ready? Let's go. My name's Jason, and I've started this channel to be able to share the insights and also information about the things that we do, the things that we don't do, and the things that happen to us around the impact to ourselves and impact to others. We all lead these busy lives, right? So sometimes we just forget. And also I think that there's just stuff that we need to be more aware of. And so that's where this channel is going to come from, the impact that we have through our actions to ourselves and the actions on others. So let's go. Oh, I'm sat in a chair for this one.
Have a chair, I have a chair. Oh, go do this, go do this.
I mix it all up a little bit. So yeah, number one, sleep. Prioritize your sleep. Get on top of that sleep. It's crazy to understand how little sleep I had across the years. Some of that was wildly disruptive through eating so much and binge eating and making myself sick. When your body's in that high state of stress, through awful sleep because of being drunk and too much alcohol, lack of sleep through worry of business side of things. And what I'm going to say with all of these things is that the frame of reference has changed. Because I'm now more on top of the things that keep me well, I can now see how bad things were in the past. But what you're going to find is if you don't do these things, it's going to be a creeping darkness. Like I've said before in another video, it doesn't go night, day, night, day. It just creeps on. And then suddenly when it's always crap, your frame of reference is different. So definitely think about your sleep. Have a good sleep pattern, relax your brain before you sleep. What I was finding was that I was going to sleep in a highly stressed state. So I use Garmin, there's other things that are out there, Whoop and other things. But it was just interesting to have that data available to me, you know, even to the extent of watching angry YouTube videos and then going straight to bed. I was seeing that I was in a highly stressed state. So being able to calm the brain down, you get better deep sleep and REM sleep and all those other things. But anyway, that's number one, prioritize your sleep. Hydrate. And I don't mean what I was doing, red wine, white wine, beer and all sorts. It's now, I keep saying it's crazy. Well, now that I've got a better understanding of the impact to myself, I can now see if I'm not drinking, you know, a good 4 litres a day, and that's a couple of litres of water, a couple of cups of coffee, a couple of cups of green tea, then I wake up in the middle of the night absolutely thirsty as hell. So think about just changing maybe some of those habits, but having not drunk alcohol for a very long time, I feel it the next day, even things like cramps in legs and calf and feet and toes. So certainly, you know, absolutely think about it. And all of this stuff's going to be individual. What I'm doing is very different. You know, my weight is different. Therefore, you know, I need different water inputs. But certainly whatever works for you. But definitely get the water in and hydrate. 3, my worst one, balanced diet. I am terrible for this. But the other side of it is that I notice that if I stop eating decent food and eat crap, and that's generally because I'm poorly organized. At the moment, I've absolutely got more on top of the mental aspects of well-being that lead me towards the binge eating. I'm certainly getting better at that, but I know for certain when I'm eating better foods that are less processed, that are more healthy, I feel better in my brain. See, the thing is, in the past, I would blame the brain fog on having a hangover, like a 2-day hangover, and that would just ruin my capabilities to do anything. So now I've got a better understanding of the hydration and the food and the sleep, because my frame of reference has changed so much. So yes, absolutely. Number 3, balanced food. Regular exercise. I've always found this not a problem because I love being outdoors and love being in nature. But there are certainly blocks of time where I found it hard to get out of bed, where I've sat in a corner crying and not been able to face the day. But actually, when I forced myself out the door, this is something that I've been more conscious of, certainly over the past 15 months or so since the awakening. So I absolutely know, and I can promise you, within whatever's right for you, we all know that there are certain, capabilities that may prevent you from doing certain things. But do your best, even if it's just getting outside into the garden or walking to the shop rather than driving. The regular exercise is going to be critical in whatever shape it works for you. And what I do as a secondary thing now, and like I'm kind of professed expert, I am better when I put things into my diary. Deep breathing. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on with this number 5. The number 5 is deep breathing, Wim Hof. There's a lot of stuff around that. I tend to link that in with, I've got a very cheap plasticky cold water thing that's in the garden. Again, this is all very recent stuff. This isn't just me being an expert in the world, but getting into that and having to take control of some of that breathing, it really helps. It's all about control as well for me. And there's a lot of research that's out there to be able to think about how your body gets more oxygen in, about it controls things like the parasympathetic nervous systems. Do your research. I am not an expert, even if I think I am. Go and do that research and just understand it. But it is really, really important. Spending time with nature, you can link that in with maybe some exercise, or perhaps even at lunchtime or whatever time that you have. You may have kids, you might be able to take them out in the stroller or a pram or whichever it's called in whichever country you're in. It's about achieving something as well, about doing something with your time that makes you feel better about yourself. And nature's just lovely. Just sit there in silence, get rid of the headphones, listen to the birds tweeting. Even if you're in built up areas, you're still, I believe, not too far from something that could be seen as green space. But even so, urban areas, you can look up and it can be beautiful when the night lamps are on, that kind of thing. And of course, remembering to be safe. Vitamin D is absolutely critical. Number 7, there's so much study that's out about this, around the body's need for vitamin D for things like mood regulation. Even if it's just getting outside, get up in the morning, make yourself a brew, go and stand outside. Well, we're in the UK, right? It could be absolutely titting down with rain, but trying to get some of that sunlight through to you. And in another video, I'll talk about things like grounding and some of the science behind that, because I will be making another video with another 20, which is your cue to subscribe. But anyway, back to that vitamin D stuff. Yeah, get outside, go and get that vitamin D. Number 8.
I am the Count. They call me the Count because I love to count things.
Limit processed foods and sugar. For me, this is absolutely about sugar. I know that if I have chocolate, it ruins my sleep for that night. And I've done tests on this. And again, it's about the personal side of things. And it's something that I've actually just started now. I'm calling it my sort of 90-90 project. So getting rid of all of these things for 90 days as I get a bit tighter to health and focus. But yeah, I get it, right? It tastes freaking nice. And there's no way that I'm saying in any way, shape or form that you should stop these things. I know myself, if I say I'm stopping, that's it. My brain goes, fudge you, Jace. And then I just instantly want to eat all the chocolate. I don't mean just one bit, I mean all the chocolate. So think about where you can minimize some of these things. For me, it was and is the sleep. I know that when I smash in the sugar and the chocolate, it absolutely ruins my sleep. So that's one of the key things for me. Number 9. Wow, stretching and yoga. And I was doing some Pilates as well. As I'm getting older, right, I'm 50 years old. And before everybody blows up the comments with, but Jason, you look so much younger. Yes, I'm 50 years old. Things are creaking, things are tightening up, the back, the hips, and you know what? Those hips don't lie. Everything starts to creak. Doing a few minutes of stretching is an absolute game changer for me. I absolutely feel it. Now, I keep saying, right, I'm not the expert on these things. These are just the things and one of the things that I need to be better at within that time blocking range is to make sure I do this. But I know categorically when I'm doing more stretching, when I'm doing yoga, Pilates, it's a world of difference, like mentally as well. Just taking that time out and finding balance in things. So yeah, have a think about that. And I do need to be better at it. But time's not, I mean, there's not a billion hours a day, right? Number 10, regular checkups. Ooh, through the middle of 2023, there were lumps in my body. There were rashes everywhere. I had upset tummy. Things were irregular. I was in a freaking mess. I thought I had all kinds of cancers. I went for tests. I didn't go and get the results because I was too scared about the results. I would justify it by just not having the time. I've got other things to do. I've got to do this business thing because I don't want the business to collapse because I enjoy the happy feelings of people going off and doing trips and all that stuff. I've talked about this stuff before. But since February last year, I have had test after scan after image. I've got pages and pages and pages of information, bloods and all sorts, because then I was able to make some better conscious choices. Now, thankfully, as far as I know, I don't have anything major serious. There are some things that are higher, some things that are lower, but at least I can now make a plan. But please, please, please do go and get yourself checked up. The NHS is there for that. Don't think that you're being a burden. Don't think that, it'll just be okay. Through 2023, middle of probably, what are we talking about? Probably April, May through September, October. I'd convinced myself that I had all kinds of issues that were going on. Dr. Google was not my friend when I was saying there's a lump here and there's an upset tummy there, and if I push there it hurts, and I've got a rash here, therefore I've got pancreatic cancer. Because the symptoms are there. Go and get a test, don't get the results, convince myself even more, go to the pub, go to the shop, buy the chocolate, get the food, suppress the feelings, depression explodes, suppress it more with alcohol. It's easy to do, but definitely go and get yourself checked out. So that's the first 10. Number 11. If where I live and the space that I've got around me is cluttered, it just blows up my brain. It really, really does. I tend to live in a very clean, spacious kind of place. There's like books and stuff behind me here. Book there, book there, book there. That's what I was doing whilst I was recovering from this stuff. So yeah, decluttering stuff, getting rid of things that I don't need, tidying up space, being on top of these things, even things like washing up. If I don't do the washing up for a couple of days, it twists my brain up. So trying to stay really, really close to that. Now, some people have their own way of doing things. That's on you. I'm not telling you with any of the things that I am talking about. I am not telling you what to do. If someone was telling me what to do, I'm like, well, what's it got to do with you, shithead? But actually, what I wanted to do is share. I'm sharing all of this with you so you can maybe think about things and make some better choices. But for me, absolutely a clear space, decluttered, is also then representative of this brain space. This I have been terrible at. Terrible. Being able to manage your own personal finances. I got into all kinds of bother putting everything into running that business, and I stopped opening letters. I couldn't handle the stuff that was going through. I was getting 20 phone calls a day from debt people. I wasn't answering those. It was just getting worse and worse. And the mess was compounding and compounding and compounding. It was absolutely awful. You know what? When you're honest about these things with people, generally people are okay. There are still like blackmailing tossers that are out there, but at the end of the day, it was part of the problem of me and all of the other aspects that sat around it, and some of these bits that I can't really talk about at the moment, some of the things I won't talk about. But getting close to managing those levels of finances and not hiding from those situations, those are going to be really, really key to you, because I hid from it all. I hid from everything. I became super isolated. I became incredibly distant from absolutely everything. And it was just part of a pillar of the problems that were going on in my world that just compounded on top of each other, on top of each other, on top of each other. So definitely learn from me on this one. Don't hide from it. Make a budget plan, stick to your finances, and you know, please don't bury your head, because it's very easy to get into a lot of crap fast. Number 13, learn a new skill. I would say that what I have been doing over the past 15 months is not so much learning a new skill as such, but I did look at how to self-publish books. I looked at how to create covers for books. I looked at how things like KDP worked, because to find some more meaning in the suffering of what I've been through was to share the journey. So I've created some journals and some books. There is 100 Reasons to Say Yes for Adventure, a wellbeing blueprint. This is something from a while ago. This was 365 leadership hints and tips that I took from my corporate world, which you can all find on my KDP stuff. Links in the YouTube channel description somewhere. I'm not going to put it here. It'll be somewhere down there. But yeah, for me, that was learning something. It gave me something to think about. It gave me something to occupy my mind. I felt a sense of achievement in amongst all of the other turbulence was going on. It gave me a reason to get up and do something. That for me was really, really important. So, I mean, there's people are crocheting out there, knitting, sewing, learning navigation, for example, if you're an adventurer. There's a lot of things that you could do, learn a language. But, you know, giving yourself something to occupy your mind, for me, it was in amongst those in the dark times when you're going through the deep reflection through things like counseling. It enabled me to step away in my brain from those darker things and then give myself a sense of contribution and purpose and achievement. Number 14, planning your time effectively. I am inherently very lazy. I can find myself sat in front of Netflix, Prime, for ages, and YouTube, and I can justify YouTube under I'm learning about how other people are editing and how they're presenting information and how they're creating hooks so that people stay engaged for longer. But some of it is just a really poor use of time. If I think about in my world, there's things that I want to do for exercise, there's things that I want to do to be able to think about my recovery and moving back into sort of work type stuff. There's things that I want to do in terms of content creation. There's things that I want to do to stay connected with my family, because a really positive byproduct of this awakening is a deeper connection with, say, my mum, because I became so isolated and just detached myself from everything. So that even means that I'm just time blocking everything. So I'm trying to manage my time a lot better. And I always think for me, this is going to be work in progress, but it is absolutely on my mind. The conscious thinking is on my mind. Something else that's really working for me as well is creating a routine. Mornings, absolutely. Evenings before bed, absolutely. And some of the parts in between. So yeah, there's millions of things that are out there. There's Andrew Huberman's, there's $1 Million Mornings, or Win the Morning, Win the Day. I like to keep my stuff really simple. I'll get up, I'll drink some water, I'll have a green tea, I'll go and look outside, try and get outside into the garden, do some fasted cardio, then maybe I'll have some breakfast. So just starting to think about what that routine looks for. And absolutely, before bed, I want to reduce everything which can be anxiety inducing for me, so that I go to bed in a more restful headspace. So think about something that could work for you. Maybe you're not that person. I was actually chatting with my mum earlier about this, that the routine I like, but there's always a part of me that wants that little bit of extra excitement. So I have to try and manage myself so I don't end up going all in one way and then it flips over the other way and then it becomes sort of negative to what I want to achieve. So that's something that I think about with a routine. Limit screen time. Oh God, that is so hard, right? It's like social media FOMO. Now, thankfully for me, over the past 15 or so months, I've been really limited on social media. So screen time has been massively lower. But what I have seen is that it's such a polarizing, tosspot, toxic environment that people just get sucked in and dragged in. It's like, how dare they say that? I'm going to get my point across, and that's just terrible. I'm going to give you my opinion on this. Everyone's getting dragged into the negativity and the polarization, and it's just, I'm seeing so many people just get lost and absorbed into it, and we are perpetuating this whole problem. In fact, I'm going to do another video on this. I know there's been a lot of stuff around the Netflix series Adolescence, and in my opinion, we're looking at things in the wrong direction, but I'll do another video about that. But yeah, definitely limit that screen time. And the next one, number 17, make sure that you give yourself breaks through the day. What was I watching the other day or reading the other day? That if you do 10 bodyweight squats every 45 minutes, that's better than having a walk at lunchtime, or something about insulin and sugar regulation, blah, blah, blah. But whatever you do, make sure you get those breaks. What I'm trying to do at the moment is do 45 minutes of focused effort. And then what I'm doing is maybe having a little break, make some green tea, a coffee, go for a tiny little walk somewhere. So I'm trying to structure that break time in, because I will get absorbed into something and I'll just sit there for ages, and suddenly it's 10 o'clock and I don't sleep until 4 o'clock, and then I'm up at 6 o'clock and everything's crap. So being more disciplined with the structure of time, but also putting those breaks in. This links quite nicely with number 18. Practice time management. Easier said than done. But at the moment, I'm just using the alarm on my phone, or the timer, whatever it is, just setting that time. And then what I'm doing is the night before, I'm putting a time block. So last night, I sat down, probably 6 p.m. I was like, right, I'm going to go for a walk. I put time in to speak to my mum. I've got MBA studies that are going on. I put an hour in to video this. I'll put another hour to edit it. I've got some closing down things to do from other bits that were going on, and the next book that's being put together. So I blocked all that time in, and then I'm trying to be more disciplined to that time and not get into that kind of like, oh, shiny thing. Oh, there's something over there. Oh, the ducks in my garden are quacking. I must go and feed them, and then laugh at how they're kind of falling over each other to get the food. So that practicing the time management side of things, and I hope and think that you will find that really important too. Number 19, fun activities. Now I can literally sit there. It's springtime in the UK as I'm filming this, and there's 2 ducks. Well, sometimes there's 4, 3 dudes and 1 female. And they'll come and quack around the garden, and hopefully this spring they'll have ducklings as well, and I'll watch the ducklings zooming around. That for me is a fun activity. It is hilarious to watch them. I might just sit there with a coffee and get some seeds out and give them a good feed, but that's fun. I'll plan that time in the break time. And then there might be some fun activities. I might arrange a movie night with a friend and just break up the week with these things. I might go and have a walk with somebody, meet someone for a coffee, and have some really fun times. We have lost so much that childlike wonder and happiness that we had. And I'm going to do another video on this. I keep saying I'll do another video. I've got loads of topics. And it's something that came out of the positive psychology course that I did at the end of last year, just in terms of how fun activities make us happy feelings, all of those brain hormones and chemicals that go on. I'll do a separate video about this because I think there's some really interesting stuff that I want to share on that. But make sure you plan those in. Goes back to diary management, goes back to time blocking, but make sure that you're having fun. Yeah, I get that, but it's something that I am conscious of now, having more fun with life. I may be 50, but this is just the start of life, right? I've got so much that I've learned, so much experience that I can lean upon. Like the next 50 years, I'm going to live for another 50 years, are going to be freaking incredible with more fun, and you should do the same. And here's number 20. Something that was really important when I embarked on the therapy after the breakdown awakening It took a long while to get access to counselling and therapy sessions, and I was very fortunate to be given 8 sessions locally. And then I've been paying to carry them on because the therapy sessions are really important to me. And when we looked at what the goals for therapy were, at the top was to develop a set of coping mechanisms so that I can withstand the rigors of life. And one of those is the shithousery of social media, because that nearly broke me. The idea, the shame, the humiliation nearly broke me. So I've been absolutely and consciously looking at what coping mechanisms are there for me, how to break through the cognitive dissonance, how to ground myself back into reality, how to decatastrophize the things. Because I will literally sit there and just, if right now I could easily create 4 separate links between a plane flying overhead and the engine falling off and it coming down and crashing through the roof, and maybe it won't kill me, but it'll land on my legs and then I'll be a quadriplegic for the rest of my life. I can easily catastrophize. So having those coping mechanisms in place to be able to bring me back into balance are absolutely critical, and that's something that I absolutely suggest everybody should do. I believe that we all in some way have something that's going on. We're all having tough times. We're all on these journeys. And that means that we all need to try and find out what these coping mechanisms are to be able to stop us from spinning out. You know what I was saying about the other day, and I'll put a link to the video. This is about the second thought and the first action. And for me, having a coping mechanism to help manage that first thought to be able to mitigate the first action is absolutely paramount. So look, that's it, 20. Was there one in the 20 that resonated more? Is there anything that you would add to that? Let me know in the comments. Please, please, please do. And as I said, I'm going to stick a video here, the one that, where I talked about the second thought and the first action. Thank you for listening. Thank you for getting this far. And please do subscribe. There are lots more, what I believe are insightful videos coming. So yeah, thank you. Be kind, take care of yourselves, and I'll speak to you in the next video.